We gotta figure out a better intro. I'm your host, Chad Porto, and joining me as always, my glorious co-host, Marcus Green. Marcus, we are getting off into the NWA, and this is our top 10 talents from the NWA in no particular order, except for the fact we do have a linear list, so that way we can keep on track. But these aren't supposed to be in any particular order. So, Marcus, was this a difficult list for you?
No, not too much. I think when it went, not for like two of our categories, but maybe that last one when it comes to the titles, just because I had to kind of sit and ponder just for a minute between best used and relevant. But these first two with the talent and the Lucha Underground stars, not so much.
So we're recording 3 of these this week. First one on Monday is going to be the NWA talent roster pool. On Wednesday, we're going to have the Lucha Underground talent that came out and had a big impact and redefined their careers thanks to the show. And on Friday, we're going to have the best used titles in pro wrestling over the last 5 years. So let's buckle up, let's kick it off, and let's start with number 1. Or 10 or whatever, I don't care. From NWA, Marcus, who's your first talent taken in this NWA extravaganza list?
I'm going to go with a young lady who has literally been billed as an onion because they're constantly peeling back layers of her. Have been since the first time we saw her on the show. And she has just a presence about herself that just not a lot of women have outside of the outward aesthetic. And I think she's looks to be superbly talented and clearly has a lot more in store than we know. And I'm going with Camille on that.
And she is fit.
Yes.
Marcus can't see the photo I'm using, but it's...
To quote somebody, glorious.
Glorious. Remember when Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura were over just because of their music? I do. That takes us to the next one. For me, I think it's one of those guys that desperately needed to be picked by the NWA when they launched, and I'm glad they did. It's Jack Stein. He's a powerhouse. He's a freak of nature. He's one of the guys that really helped carry the NWA brand alongside Tim Storm and, shockingly enough, Rob Conway for that spell between now and when the NWA parted from Impact Wrestling. He was a force to be reckoned with then. He tried to get a short-lived tag team with Crimson off the ground. Now he's in the NWA. And he's kind of in a little minor feud with Tim Storm currently. Former NWA World's Champion, should be back in the title scene eventually because he's a hell of a hand. I think if you're new to Jack Stein, you're going to be very impressed because this man is definitely living up to expectations, and I'm hopeful that a lot more fans can get to see who he is and what he can do in the time going forward. Marcus, who's your next pick?
Oh, for me, I'm going with a young guy I got introduced through this brand. Obviously not the first time he stepped in the ring, but the first time.
Ziggy Dice! Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Stepped into the ropes in this organization. He's a young guy, got a lot of moxie, a lot of swagger, if you will, and a lot of promise about himself. I'm talking about that young, pretty Ricky Stark.
Who is now a free agent. Marcus, I saw the pick and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna wait to tell him.
He knew thee well. If he goes to Impact, we're gonna know thee really well.
I agree with everything you said about Ricky Stark. He is fantastic. He's a great rising prospect. He's someone that I think people should really get invested in. I think he needs to find his superstar look, so to speak. But the talent in the ring and the charisma outside of it, he is definitely a package worth checking out. For my next pick, I'm going the opposite with Ricky. I'm going with old man winner himself, Tim Storm. I've never thought I'd say this about a 53-year-old man, but he's definitely one of the linchpins of the NWA. He's so popular, so beloved, and the best thing is it's finally happening for this dude. Like this is a case in point of it's never too late to try. Like, this dude's finally getting over at 53. He might be older than 53. I don't remember. And I'm just so grateful for him because he's such a hell of a nice guy, and he's a hell of a he's a really decent wrestler too, considering how old he is.
Yeah, he really is just. I mean, it's been a really beautiful thing just watching his star maybe rise even more now than it was when he was in his prime, perhaps. And as over as he is now, he still isn't as over as his mom, which is even crazy.
Mama Storm.
Yeah, man, it's just 100% genuine with him. Like, he cut one of the best promos, and one of those couple last shows, and it's just every time he comes out, it's just 100% authentic. And it's nice for us to say his name and not say free agent behind it because he has a backup. He's a teacher.
Yes, he does. That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going there for a second. I'm like, wait, what? Yes, he is a professional teacher. And actually, I think he's a principal now. I think he got a promotion.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he got like an extra 14 cents.
that joke might very well be true.
Yeah, it's not even so much a joke, so much as a concern that I think he only got an extra 13 cents in his paycheck. Damn. All right, next up we have your pick in who?
Oh, yeah, I'm going with another, this guy, me and you are very familiar with, I think a lot of Impact fans are familiar with, but for me, even though I was disappointed when I first saw him because I wanted him elsewhere, I had to 100% come around and be like, look, I don't know if there's a place that fitted this guy more perfectly like a glove, and vice versa with him in this company. I'm going with the man himself, Eli Drake. Yes, I did the finger point with it. Got to. The company just fits him like a glove, man. He's very much obviously with the times and whatnot, and very much in the now. But he's very much has an old school mentality, vibe, and way that he goes about executing the magic that he does with his character, with the way he talks, walks, and executes the stuff in that ring. So yeah, man, Eli Drake. I think it was just a brilliant pickup for them, and hopefully. I'm not about to get told he's another free agent because I think he really fits well with that company. I think that's probably where he's best suited right now, specifically if he's not looking to be around a lot of cruiserweights or cruiserweight-esque type of guys. So, yeah, I think Eli Drake is a perfect fit for the NWA.
I completely agree, although I would have loved him in Impact, but we all know how Impact is treating the world title scene, so who knows if he would have gotten the rub that he deserved. Next up we have... As soon as I figure out how to zoom out. Why can't I zoom out? Oh no. Here we go. I figured it out. Next up is my pick. It's one Senor Kingston, another former Impact star. He's just someone that I think is truly remarkable. He's a great brawler, an even better promo. And he's constantly just been given the shaft for one reason or another. And I don't entirely know why. Because everyone I've ever talked to about this guy speaks volumes about him. But he still can't catch a break. And the craziest thing is, this dude's a hell of a worker, even though he's at 40, I think. His run in Impact was fantastic with Homicide and Hernandez as the OGs. That was easily one of the best feuds of the year. And, he had so much potential in his first run with the... what the hell was that called? The something with James Storm and I don't even remember who Bram. They wore masks and shit.
Oh. The Death Council crew, Death Crew Council.
Yeah, the DCC. That's right.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to revive some type of idea from the short-lived but incredibly potent Beatdown Clan.
Yeah, I like the concept, but the execution did not go well.
No, it could have been huge, but hey, here we are. Kingston's phenomenal. He's generally one of the best guys on the product whenever he gets an opportunity. And while NWA on YouTube is a great thing for fans, I think they'll do a lot better if they can actually get on cable. Because cable is still very important for wrestling. I don't know why. With that being said, Marcus, next up, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with another young lady on the brand, somebody that like echo a lot of sentiments I said about Camille. Just has a presence about themselves, extremely efficient in between those roles, even more so than I knew about her previously, knowing her from her days in Lucha Underground. But she's really just coming to her own, and her persona in this brand is taking a life of its own. And she's something special, and she's the champion, and rightfully so. I'm talking about Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa. Um, yeah, she's a special talent, man. Like every time, I mean, the look, the walk, the talk, she just has it. Whatever it is, she has that. So Thunder Rosa, man, another great talent, and really you could put her at the head of any division right now. I think she's that good.
She's phenomenal. Great in-ring talent. She's also an MMA fighter, although she did lose her debut bout. I think she's one of those talents that she brings you in, and she's unique enough with a very common concept with the face paint to stand out, though. Like, she's not just another face paint, individual. She uses her Mexican heritage to find a balance with it and to bring it out in a way that hasn't been done effectively for a while. So I think she's phenomenal, just like you do. I think she's a plus on that one. For me, my next one up is Trevor Murdoch.
Nice.
He's a pretty big deal. I dig the dude. He's all sorts of the fantastic. Old, out of shape, kicks a lot of ass. You don't need much more than that, in my opinion. So, seeing his revival in the NWA has been impressive. He's had great matches with Ricky Starks, and I think who was the other one? Was it Ziggy Dice that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, Ricky Starks, Ziggy Dice, yeah.
So to see him do this after the WWE basically misused him for years and then cast him off, and after he failed to get really any traction and impact, it's great. It's another one of those stories where you love to see it, right? You love to see this type of revival of sorts.
Absolutely.
And Marcus, what is your next one?
Yeah, last one. My final pick is number one, if you will. Going to somebody who, um, yeah, I came to like in certain aspects and impacts, and then kind of soured on in others just because how he was treated. But seeing what he's done post his days there has been tremendous. He's practically reinvented himself and literally has put this company on his back and made his brand and his company basically one and the same, synonymous. He's done a phenomenal job, and he is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, and deservedly so. I'm talking about Nick Aldis. I think, he's another guy that has that it factor. Um, the look, the walk, talk of a champion, and yeah, it's not too many people that would have done what he did, and just 100% committed to it because it was a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that was going to go. You're trying to revive a brand that is, had been basically non-existent for however long, and they brought it back into, some real strong relevance, and a lot of that obviously, Billy Corgan has had something to do with that, but he plays a huge role in that, and I think he cemented himself as a true world champion, certainly more so than he ever was in Impact. And a lot of that had to do with the way the company booked him. So I think he's redeemed himself 10 times over, and he's definitely shown himself to be a thoroughbred. So um, good on Nick, man. Good stuff.
And you weren't originally a fan of the guys, were you?
No, I think I grew to like him through more so his babyface running impacts, specifically the stuff he was doing with Joe, which I think, we both liked.
Mm-hmm. That was a good
Um,
tag team.
yeah, because it definitely helped him grow. But I don't know how anybody didn't sour on his his world title run, and then obviously, problems he had with whatever regime was there at the time. Then I kind of honestly, I kind of just forgot about him. Kind of I'm gonna leave the fading line to you, but that's kind of what he did to me until he, then I heard the NWA thing, and I didn't really take it seriously, if I'm being honest. And then, obviously, he made everybody, him, Billy Corgan, and everybody else associated with it, made everybody take it seriously. And now we're getting probably one of, my favorite wrestling products to watch weekly, on YouTube. So
you could say, faded away into nothing.
there it is.
And lastly, I'm going with the female who steals my heart every time she's on TV. She's a Cleveland gal, at least in spirit, and that's Marty Bell. She's a big Indians fan, so I'm always going to be a big fan of Bell in return. She's someone who I don't understand why keeps missing the mark. Why so many different promotions, be it NXT with the Mae Young Classic, Impact, or NWA, aren't giving her more to do. I think she's a phenomenal athlete. She's a phenomenal in-ring talent. And she's got a unique enough look that makes her pop instantly on TV. Plus, she's gorgeous as hell. And I think the fact that she's not being better utilized is a crime against humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, it's weird. And I see this, and because, watching In Your House Tonight, Dream did not win. And it's funny because, I think he's probably colder now than he's ever been.
Yeah.
Even before losing this match. That could due to several factors, but it just kind of is what it is. But it kind of like reminds me, like you talking about Marty Bell, kind of reminds me of like Bianca Belair, Dream, and some others. Like, it just kind of gets, I guess, decided by the powers that be that this person, for as phenomenal as they may be, either character-wise or in the ring or both, which is rare, that these guys are just better as a person who just almost gets there. It's like the basically the label that Cage got slapped with. He's the guy that is almost there, ready. He's the guy with nothing but potential. It's like you got to eventually pull the trigger on these people. It's like they almost become obsessed with putting them right fingertips away from where they're supposed to be, and then yanking the rug from under.
And you know what they say about potential? It'll get you fired. So that's all we got for this installment of the Underground Top 10. Thanks for tuning in. You can find more of us at realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NerdCorp. That's NerdCorp on Twitter. We're on Instagram at RealNerdCorp. That's RealNerdCorp. You can also find us on twitch.tv/WrestlingUnderground. We record this show live every Sunday, so it's a little bit more awkward than it seems. But we record 3 of them in a row, and then we upload them day, Wednesday, Friday, and Monday, in no particular order, apparently. You can also find us on our personals. Marcus, you can be found on yours at Paradox Kid, PARADOXKID.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, That True Penny Show, on Twitter at True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. Give them a listen. You can find me on Twitter at Chad NerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp. I'm the three-eyed fish of catches. So if you're single, that's essentially what you're getting. You can also find me on my Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut, ChadsphotoHut. You can also find us on Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com or on the Podbean app by searching Real NerdCorp. We're also on Spotify and iTunes by searching NerdCorp, NERDCORP. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be downloading all of our past podcasts and listening them on the go. They're free. Because no one will let us fucking make you buy them. Like, no one's dumb enough to do that. No. Don't buy the shows. Don't ever buy the shows. So for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. This has been another edition of the Wrestling Underground Top 10. Marcus, say goodnight.
Good night, meat.
2240. That's got a good ring to it.